Okay, we lit it just like a fuse, so no need to pick and choose. Welcome to 2020, where we do more than interviews. The hottest beat coming through, jumping knowledge on all of you. Get a peek at the front of you with the truth that they offer you. Yeah, hands up, we doing it for the culture. To give artists and businesses more exposure. Keeping it real and stay silent just like a boulder. It's about to go all the way down, can't get no lower. Chasing my dreams, know that they get no slower. But if I stay running, I promise they getting closer. Moreover, success my older. And if you're sleeping on me, I'm waking them up like Folgers. I told you, coming from the land with the tide roll. Well, we'll be on a whole different vibe though. We like to ride slow and keep our windows tinted so you really can see us like Stevie Wonder waking up with his eyes closed. Yeah, got the kind of flow that rock the boat. On my 16s of pounds of dope. And if you figure you can hang with me on the mic, then grab some rope. Matter of fact, better grab some hope. While you at it, we keep it live, it's time to tune in. Turn up the sound on what you're using. It goes so hard, I think it's bruising. The show is 2020, no need to zoom in. Yeah.
Mr. Ken, thank you for coming in today. I wanted to kind of pick your brain today. I did an open call. This is for our 2020 Vision series. I'm doing on the Divine Nine. Now, what inspired me to do this kind of series was the infamous little Boosie situation. I don't know if you remember. Boosie was rocking Cap Alpha Psi sweater or a hoodie. What was it? A sweater?
I think it was like a sweatshirt. Yeah, like a sweatshirt or something.
Some-ish. But he was rocking it, and he thought it was cool, and he went on IG, and people told him a new one, and I understood why, but not a lot of other people understood why. They were kind of offended at my offendedness, so I decided, you know what, now's a good time to kind of touch on the Divine Nine and why we take it so personally. It isn't a gang mentality or anything like that. It's just representative of something bigger than yourself. And when you haven't earned that opportunity to wear those colors or those letters, it's kind of an insult.
Well, it's not even necessarily the thing of you earn the opportunity. It's the availability of you actually taking advantage of the opportunity to join something that is bigger than yourself. But it also goes back to the idea that I think us as the Divine Nine, as an organization, we have to change that narrative, honestly, because of who we are. I think everyone thinks that when it comes to Greek organizations, it's all about the parties, the stroll-offs. That's what it's all about. It's all about the entertainment. When really, we got to take it back to our roots, What was the whole point of the Greek organizations? The whole point was because of the fact that we were trying to help our community, at the same time social, but it was more of a what can we do for our community type of socialite. Right. Because you have to think a lot of the going back to the civil rights movement, a lot of the foundational things that were built upon the civil rights movement started out with our Greek organizations.
That's correct.
It was a social thing. May I remind you, because of the fact that African Americans were not allowed in white social clubs and stuff.
Correct.
So African Americans started their own groups, and then it kind of manifested into how can we help and serve our own communities. And that's where we need to get back to projecting out to people. It's the fact that we're, in a way, a community service organization, organizations for our communities. Each, I think, Greek org has their thing that they, what's the word I want to say? Contribute.
Those facets that they focus on.
Yeah, the main things that they focus on. Because I think that's what we have to project out. So like with Sigma Gamma Rho, our founders were 7 educators. The thing is, they wanted to mainly help out women and African American women and children within the community. So we do a lot of things, not only just throwing it out there, breast cancer research. We also deal with St. Jude. Another thing is we also deal with what can I put out there? Domestic violence. We deal with like project book bag, in which we give book bags to the kids for the school year.
Okay.
So we do different little things like that. We teach kids how to swim through our swimming campaign.
That's cool.
That we have, because Black kids sometimes don't know how to swim and drown. Yeah, the drownings, And so we have a campaign initiatives to do things like that. So a lot of our stuff deals with us helping out women and children in the community and through education.
Okay. No, I love that. And that's really what I want to kind of focus on, because the defensive portion of the community that responded to that, that were offended, I think what the message they were trying to convey is what you're saying, but it was being highlighted in the wrong way. It was like they were passionate but fussing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can understand. We don't, how can I put it? People feel like you get into an organization in order to have friends, but it's not about that to me.
Right.
It's more than, it's like you're doing something that is bigger than yourself.
Correct.
I always been that person. I just always wanted to help people, but I didn't know exactly how can I go about with helping people, but on a larger scale.
Right.
And honestly, joining Sigma Gamma Rho helped me out a lot with that, because I think that's what I just mainly wanted to do. I just wanted to help out the African American community and advance us in a more positive and better direction.
Okay. Let me ask you something. Well, first, if you don't mind, when did you join?
I joined in the spring of 2017.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did. So I didn't necessarily go through the undergraduate route.
Okay.
I did it through the grad chapter, Kappa Zeta Sigma.
Hey,
here in Mobile.
Out. All right now. That's
so that's how I joined. Now going through undergrad, I wanted to join, but it was like through the superficial, reasons. I just wanted for the parties and the letters and, just the whole little social aspect. But when I got older, or me just noticing like people on campus or just certain orgs on campus for me, it didn't appeal to me, that way. I wanted to join a group of women that I knew that were honest, that I could be myself with, that I didn't have to fit their mold. I could be myself and be accepted.
That's important.
And Sigma Gamma Rho actually stood out to me. I actually went to what did I go to? It probably was a step show, I think, out of all things. And I just saw them, talking, laughing. I knew several women that were in the organization, and just saw how they were with each other. And I thought it was kind of real. I thought it was very organic. And I wanted to join, but financial reasons and all of that stuff, I just wasn't able to join.
Okay.
In my undergrad time. So I honestly just kind of gave it up. I really didn't give it another thought until I had a friend who joined and the grad chapter in like 2015, and I was like, oh man, so I actually have another opportunity to be a part of this illustrious organization. And so I ended up joining, after just getting everything together and settled with myself, joined in the spring of 2017.
Cool. I think that's important that you were mature enough to notice that now's not the right time, financially and mentally. I think it's perfectly fine to mature and come back to something later when you feel you appreciate it for the right reasons. Because we call those that don't t-shirt wearers. They're just there just to allow the organization to shine for them, instead of shining within the organization. So I think that is important.
I think the biggest thing with organization is that you have to have the willing to work.
Woo, say that part again for the people in the back.
You got to put in the work. It's a lot of work.
It's a business.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it really and honestly, truly is a business. Once you hold a officer like position within your chapter, you understand that, okay, this is truly a business.
Yep.
I have to go to, so for me, I hold a position in my chapter currently right now. So I'm a financial officer. So when it comes to money and you gotta get stuff, stuff that gotta get paid and checks gotta be written out, it comes through me. Whew. And so the stuff matters. So you have to go to, so I go to our area stuff, which is like for the state. And then, I mainly pay attention also to our regional area. So us being in the southeastern region, votes, like things that we have to vote on, some things maybe changing bylaws, what have you. Like we have to listen and pay attention to
1,000%.
all of that stuff. So at the end of the day, it honestly truly is a business that you are looking out after at the end of the day in order to help advance the sorority overall.
I enjoy that because you're looking at it from an aspect of how can you better this organization with your presence in it. I think that's important. So, like, where would you like to advance your chapter with your presence in the years to come? What would you say?
If someone were to like come to me and ask me like, what my goals are?
Yeah.
For my chapter?
Absolutely.
I want us to grow, of course, but I also want to bring back old members too. I think I want them to understand that whatever past issues that were going on, whether or not it was something on your side personally or just something like maybe in the chapter, like come back. I think everyone has something to contribute to the chapter first and foremost. I think everyone has something to contribute, whether if it's, coming out to a community service event or, just wearing something as simple as even just wearing your letters. I think that is something that could help out the chapter in every way. If it's something that you feel like that the chapter needs to do in order to push ourselves forward, then let your voice be, heard. I think at the end of the day, us as women, because of sorority, us as women, we need to be represented in a positive light as an African American woman.
I agree.
Because honestly, I think media, whether it's on TV or through songs, tends to sometimes be on the stereotypical
negative portrayal
narrative. Right. Yeah. And I think Greek organizations can kind of help shine light in a more positive aspect. Like we're all not, A, B, and C. So I think it's just trying to bring back the old members too, and let them know that they, that they're important and that they can help advance, our chapter in whatever way that they see fit. They just got to come and work and, put in the work, let the voice be heard.
I appreciate that. You want to reconnect those generations that, I completely understand. I think that goes further into connecting back to our past, like you said in the beginning of this interview, that we all became as a community service project. Each one of us, all 9 of us, were focused on the embetterment and empowerment of our people and giving back to them in service in some form or fashion. So I think that's amazing that you have a vision of unity because, we are people, at the end of the day. Sometimes people get into it. Sometimes there are minor divisions and things that can occur that can separate you from, being a unified front. So kudos to you on keeping that dream and being open about that. That's important.
Yeah, I think people get caught up with colors too because they think it's it's gang. No.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with a gang. We are not a gang. It's like the colors to me, honestly, I think help diversify us.
Yes.
But the colors also is symbolic for something in what the organizations, stand for.
Correct.
I think. So it's all about, just doing your research. Yeah. It just goes back to just doing history. Research and history, Don't let what people say or what you heard, affect your opinion about what Greek life is honestly all about.
Right. And if they have any questions about Sigma Gamma Rho, I'm pretty sure just like you open with me, they run up on you and say, hey, I got some questions. I'm sure you'd be open to talk as well.
Yeah, and I mean, as a teacher, like I wear my letters and stuff with my kids because
That's cool.
yeah, I do. So they know, like on my computer with my on my smart board, they see those letters right away. And it was like, well, what does that E mean? Like, what's that backwards E? And I was like, no, honey, it's not a backwards E. Like, it's a Greek alphabet and stuff. And, it leads into talking about, Greek organizations. Because, I mean, we have several teachers, that are Greek, counselors, principals, administrators, like, they're Greek on campus. Right. And so I think just allow them to be open to, talk about it. Some of them have their, misinterpretations about what's the whole point of Greek organizations. Like I said, I think a lot of people think it's all about the social, like, entertainment aspect of it, but honestly, at the end of the day, it's not.
Right.
It's about, community service and just giving back to the community and just being a part of something that's bigger than yourself. I think, to me, being a light or a beacon to someone is most important. You living out your purpose, your God-given purpose, I think is the main part of just being here or being, being a human.
Right.
So
otherwise, why are you here? What are you doing?
Yeah. And I think being a part of an organization helps you to achieve that.
1000%.
Yeah.
All right. Takia, I thank you for sharing this with us. I think that was a much needed and very well delivered point, that it isn't about just what you can do. It's what we do when we have that unity. And I appreciate you sharing that and giving us your history on Sigma Gamma Rho. I think that's really cool. So if anybody wants to get in contact with you, do you have like any social media they could reach you if they have any questions or anything?
Oh, yeah. Of course, Facebook, just type in my name. It should show up. So my name is spelled T''Keyan. Peoples, and then I think Williams should show up after that. Instagram is TK251. I think that's my handle on that one. I have Snapchat. What's my Snapchat? I have no clue. I can't remember what my Snapchat is.
I'm too old.
So I mean, I'm out there. You can also follow with our chapter. I think we have a Facebook page. Kappa Zeta Sigma is our Facebook page. But if not, you can always just type in Sigma Gamma Rho, Poodles, whatever. Some things may show up about us, and you can follow anybody you want to.
There you go. All right. Well, again, this has been Sirr, 2020 Vision, Sigma Gamma Rho in the building. Takia Peoples, Williams, I appreciate you, and we out.